All right, so if we just really quickly look at percentages, how would we write if we had something like, and because you're going to have a calculator for all this, I'm just going to assume you're using a calculator. If I had 76%, what's that as a decimal? 0.76. We're just dividing by 100. Okay, what about as a fraction? 76 over 100. So if you need to find 76% of something, so if I said find 76% of $80, how would you work that out? You'd say 80 times by 0.76 and you'd get your answer. Okay, so any percentage, you just, percent means per 100. So a percentage means divided by 100. Okay, if we look at that, so if you're finding 76% of something, you just times it by that. So it's of means times. We almost always multiply in these questions, okay? If you're finding a percentage, we multiply. What if it said increase by 76%? What does that mean if I said increase something by 76%? We have to have the amount with 76% plus what we started with. So if it says increase, the word increase means we have to add 100% to what we're multiplying by. So we'd actually go, if we said increase by 76%, we'd be saying 80 times by 1.76. So if we quickly look at question 3 in exercise 8B, can someone just tell me what the, you know, the different page numbers, like if it's on page 3, what does it say the percentage is more? Say again? 60%. So if we work out how much something costs and we then say, okay, so we've worked out a cost, has anyone actually worked it out yet, the cost of it or the amount? Okay, can someone tell me the dimensions of that page? Yep, so 200 millimetres by 110 millimetres. So this is the measurement and it's asking you to find the area. So I'll just do this first bit of the question for you, okay? And then we can work out the percentages as we go. So to ask you to work out the area, how do I work out the area of that shape? What shape is it? It's a rectangle. How do I work out the area of it? 200 times by 110, and I get an amount. Is that correct? Can you guys help me out here? So that is square millimetres. Okay, so we found that measurement. There's lots and lots of square millimetres, a millimetre by a millimetre. However, what in the question, what's the cost by? Per square centimetre. So if we go back to our table, we've got to go from square millimetres to square centimetres. What do we have to do? We have to divide it by 10 squared, divided by 100. So I'm going to go divide by 100, and so I end up with 220 square centimetres. So you need to be aware of reading the question as to what it is. So then what's the cost per square centimetre? So I'm going to times that by $18.50, and someone's going to put that in their calculator for me really quickly. Oh, we're going to answer this really quickly before my battery runs out. So again, 4 and 70. Okay, so that's the cost of the page, but then that's the cost for any page, but then in the actual question it says it wants to be on page 3, 5. What percentage increase is it to be on page 5? In the book, I don't have the question. How much? 45%. So how do I need to increase by 45%. How do I do that? Good, I'm going to go 40,070 times by 1.45. And that would be my cost. So that's where the percentage part comes in. That's the increase by 45%. And someone puts that in their calculator. Say it again louder. 59? I can't hear. 5901.550. And that's your amount. Any questions about that? So if you're increasing, you add 100%, you need to be able to multiply by it as a decimal. It's pretty much the main things. And a lot of the questions coming up are going to be like that. Any questions? All right, can you do at least 2 of the other parts for question 3? You don't have to do all of them. It's going to take you forever. Just pick 2 other pages to do and then move on to question 4 onwards. Okay? So exercise 8B, question 3, 2 pages. And then question 4 onwards, I want you to keep going with.